This one's coming to you by request for Kevin Spellman, who's been supporting this page for a very long time. Kevin recently ran into some folks who are asking why they should not put 5200 on the tubes of the dinghy. Now, I'm going to do an entire segment in our discussion series on Offshore Rafting's YouTube channel about the disastrous DIYs, and contraindicated materials, but that's the long version. Today, we're going to keep it short and sweet. I'm just going to throw out a few reasons. I'm sorry, I'm freezing. Florida girl in Maryland. Few reasons why we should not put that stuff on the tubes. The first being, it's not indicated for the tubes, and you shouldn't be putting anything on that tube fabric that is not specifically made for inflatable boat fabric. 5200 is for through-hole connections, okay? So the magic erasers, the household products, the bleach, the roofing tar, the house paint, none of that stuff belongs on that tube fabric, and you're causing damage by using those things. Another reason is that it's going to fail, and I'm certain I'm going to have a lot of detractors on here saying, well, I use 5200 all the time. Yay you, because that's highly unusual. Another reason is that when it fails, and it will, and you admit defeat, you finally get the boat to a reputable repair facility, it has to be removed. We can't just say, that really looks awful. Let's just cut a large patch. We'll cover up your entire mess and go on with our bad selves. It doesn't work that way. So every minuscule piece by minuscule piece has to come off of there, and that's the way it's typically coming off. So either you can deal with that aggravation, or you can pay a pretty penny to the shop that has to deal with it, because you will be charged for it, for certain. It is a pain in the ass to take it off, but it has to be removed in order for us to properly clean and prep those tubes so that we can get a patch to adhere to that area. Another reason is that sometimes during that removal process, and this is especially true for boats that have experienced UV damage, when we are removing your 5200, it will want to take the colored layer of fabric with it. And so now you have the initial leak that you failed to stop, you have the 5200 mess, and now we've got delamination, which could cause further damage and make more leaks in that area, so to speak. All right, so if the fabric is dry, the scrim is dry, all those gauzy pieces have stretched and they're open, and now the neoprene underneath is dry as well, we've really got a disaster on our hands. And the first thing you're going to want to do is blame your trusty repair tech, but it's not our fault. So a lot of times we can still save these vessels, but we have to resort to what I call the ugly repair. We have to take all these additional measures, and maybe we're putting exterior sealant around these patches. And that being said, we are not using 5200 as our exterior sealant. Another reason is that if you wish this vessel to have any sort of resale value, you don't want to go down the 5200 path. All right, so there are a lot of videos out there now. We have a lot of boaters in the know who are aware of these contraindicated materials and the damage that they can cause to the tubes, and the shortening, I guess, of the longevity of the vessel itself due to the use of these contraindicated items. So let's just say you've got a yard sale on a Saturday morning, you've got this vessel out there slathered in 5200, somebody in the know comes up and says, sale done. Or you could be the jerk who is scamming fellow boaters by saying, oh, well, I just added this for cosmetic purposes. Come on now. Don't be that guy or gal. All right, so I think we've pretty much addressed a good number of reasons. Hopefully that deters these folks from performing a disastrous DIY, but if it doesn't, we'll have that discussion series, and you'll have a lot more reasons. We'll really get into detail about the disasters the contraindicated materials, so on and so forth. I do understand that there is a need for an emergency repair. And in that case, we've already posted some safe temporary repair tutorials on Offshore Rafting's YouTube channel. We are going to be upgrading and updating those over the next coming weeks. So we'll do the fancy stuff with the text overlay and whatever, so that you folks have that information and you know what things you should carry with you on a long passage in case you have to perform a temporary repair. Again, those are temporary. There's a reason these shops exist and a reason that we have to go through all sorts of training and the certification process in order to be able to handle these things for you. And we've all of us that are have been in this industry for quite some time know that this is a craft, and it truly is an insult to see these DIY disasters come through. Christopher Going, that's a shout out to you, sir. I know you definitely take pride in your work, and I appreciate that. Anyway, save yourselves the time, money, and aggravation. There are so many things that you can be doing on the big boat for yourselves to be productive and to have that feeling of self-sufficiency. I know it's a goodie, but leave the repairs to the professionals. Change your oil, check your batteries, do some sanding and varnishing, do some organization in the galley, whatever it takes. Just stay away from this kind of stuff. Get it done correctly the first time. That's it. Thanks for tuning in.